Psychedelic here. Today I'm just going to be sharing all the stuff I picked up since, I believe, last month was the last time I shared anything new, any new arrivals to this channel, and just kind of taking my time with it, just doing it when I'm in the mood and whatever. But this may be a long one, I don't know. Don't have a whole lot to share, but some of the stuff I want to talk about a little bit, just go in depth with, like always. But before I continue on, I also want to share that, it's sad to learn of Bill's passing. Pretty early in the morning I learned about it. I was up early for work, and I checked his Facebook, just casually checking, and looks like his wife chimed in and said that, pronounced that he had passed. So I thought about Bill all day on Friday. He was on my mind all day on Friday, and I was listening to music at work like always, and I don't know if I'm one of those like spiritual believers and coincidental stuff like after people pass or what have you, but it was interesting how, I was listening to stuff on YouTube. I always listen on YouTube to music, and I always like to turn off autoplay. But after this one album was finished, I was kind of listening to more like delicate kind of folk psych music, and all of a sudden on my phone it started playing CAC. If you guys know that album on Epic. So I'm going to feature that record in my next psychedelic trip, hopefully. I think I can get away with that one as far as the copyright is concerned, but I feel like Bill was chiming in spiritually through the technology and was telling me to play some CAC, so I figured, that was probably Bill's pick that Friday. So I listened to the whole thing and really enjoyed it. Even some of the more, that one delicate track, I think it's like on side 2 or concludes on side 1. I forget the name, but I really enjoyed that track. Anyways, just thought I'd mention that. Bill was on my mind all day Friday, so thankfully we still have a library of videos on Michigan Record Club's channel that you can just go back in time and appreciate all the moments we spent with him. So it was really, just really glad that he left a legacy, for alike collectors. So anyways, this is kind of a new angle, by the way, where I'm kind of shooting this. I just figured, kind of mix it up a little bit. Kind of tired of seeing my other tapestry hanging up, and it's just, I have the camera so deadpan on that, it's starting to kind of bug me. So I don't know, just figured I'd kind of mix it up a little bit. And before I shot this video too, I have one of those things on the back of my phone where you can extend the the back of the phone where you can like hang it leaning over, and oftentimes I use that for my psychedelic trip videos. But just before I started rolling the film, my camera fell off and it broke the back of that case. So thankfully it's staying put right now, but I figure if I move too quickly or something, like it's going to shake the floor, and it's almost like too sensitive where it's at right now, so hopefully it's gonna stay put. I do have like a little bit of a setup when I make these videos. I have it sitting on a stool, and then I have it sitting on like an old CD case I never use, and then I set my phone on top of like DVDs so I can have a little bit of a height, so the behind the scenes footage of psychedelics post-production. And I also have like my movie poster so I can, kind of suffocate the background noise too, so none of that kind of leaks in as well. So anyways, you guys don't care. I'm just babbling along. Like I said, it's going to be a long one. Anyways, so the stuff I got here is mostly local stuff. I got one online pickup, and ever since then I've picked up three cool items online the last 2 days. One of these is a local GRAIL, actually, that I'm really pumped to share, that I've been tracking down ever since I pretty much got on Discogs back in like 2014. And then I hit a garage sale. Usually don't have much luck at garage sales till this one. And it's nothing to like really rave about, but there's a couple I want to talk about. Another record shop pickup, and then 2 Goodwill finds, which I'll start with the Goodwill finds first, why not? This first one was a 45 I picked up. It's not in the best shape, but figured you don't see it every day. This is Blue Comets, Blue Eyes. with the Flipside Blue Comet 66, which I believe is an instrumental track. These guys were based out of Japan. I don't know where exactly, but I don't know what else they did, if this was like their only single, but I know it had a picture sleeve. And I had heard of this 45, I just didn't know what it sounded like necessarily. It's kind of more of like a garage pop maybe. It's kind of beat oriented, but it's got some instrumental passages which are, you know, kind of a pre-psychedelic era with some kind of like production effects gimmicks going on. So kind of a cool single to pick up for like, 50 cents or whatever it was. This one, I kind of picked this up just for shits and giggles, really. I mean, someone's been dropping off some records at the local Goodwill, and I noticed there's some Renee records dropping in, which could always be a good sign. And there's going to be 2 Renee records I'm going to be sharing in this video, but this is the first one. This one's not so great. It's more of like a lounge, soft rock act based from Nebraska. I think they recorded this, David City. It does sound like a live recording. This is Stan Galley and the Stuff Brothers. It's kind of one of those really cheesy lounge acts that, throws humor in throughout the songs, and they cover, a lot of corny ballads, and there's like one funky number on here. I think it's Feels So Good Boogie, but otherwise it's, kind of lame stuff for the most part, but just picked it up just for fun, Quite the outfits, by the way. And I believe this guy was with the Lynx, if you guys remember that lounge group. Had some connections to Nebraska. They played a lot of different clubs locally. But with this Renee record, found my top dog. Found my top one, man. Graham James. Shared this one in my last, couple videos back, my psychedelic trip. Showed the peak song on here, which is The Superlative Life is Free, the second track. This is such an oddball album, man. This is one I've been trying to pick up for many years. If you guys don't know, I'll go through the backstory again, but Renee Records was based out of David City, Nebraska. There was one time I messaged the owner's son, because the owner had passed away. He was like 95 or so. The guy who basically built Renee Studios and recorded all these artists. So I kind of asked the owner's son one time if I could come around and maybe purchase some records off of him. And at the time he said, there's not very many records left. And I figured this one wouldn't be there anymore because I've never seen this one in person up until now. I mean, I couldn't find it in thrift shops, even at record shops, record shows. For the life of me, I mean, this just never popped up. And yet there's people in like Australia and all these like far east countries that own this, and I can't even find it 40 miles away from where it was recorded, This is kind of crazy to me. But yeah, the whole backstory with Graham James, it's just very foggy. There's really no backstory as far as I know. I mean, it says on the back, he's played in like everywhere from like LA to the snowy Rocky Mountains to Arizona. Almost comes off like he could have been like this kind of mysterious drifter, like just a hitchhiker kind of hippie dude, and just found the local studio and just decided to lay his LP there. And it's so off the beaten path compared to everything else on the label. It's very left field, very offbeat, sort of like drifter music. It's a little rustic in spots, but the background instrumentation ain't too bad. The only grime with this album, though, is the man's voice itself, to be honest. I mean, he can't hold pitch on very many tracks. I mean, thankfully, the best track on here, The Superlative Life is Free, he can hold the pitch almost throughout the whole track, but What Is Me, the title track, is also very good. It's got kind of an upbeat folk rock kind of bit going on. He does a cover version of It Takes a Lot to Laugh, Takes a Train to Cry. He does a pretty solid job with that track. I could hear that in like a Tarantino film or something. It's got kind of that old reverb sound and kind of that, kind of Western aesthetic to it going on. But overall, pretty cool, pretty collectible record on the label. So Tuco, if you ever spot this out in the wild like you're doing, man, this is the one to get. All the Renee records come on different labels as well, so you're bound to find all different color variations. So very happy to pick this up finally. I mean, I've been just hunting this one down for so long. I forgot to mention where I got this. So, Lincoln Vintage Vinyl. I noticed he was selling this on Discogs, and usually he's pretty good about messaging me stuff, but some things slip through like this one, and I guess I didn't really tell him I was looking for this. He didn't really have an idea of like so many local artists or bands, but I found it on Discogs like immediately and told him like I'll take it, man. And thankfully I brought enough in trade and a few PayPal sales, enough to bring this down to the price I wanted to pay. So yeah, man, it's not for everybody for sure. It's definitely got a weird aesthetic to it, but if you're into that kind of outsider, mysterious singer-songwriter kind of stuff, I mean, it's worth investigating for sure. Okay, and then on to the garage sale. So I don't know, I kind of gave up on garage sales a long time ago. I mean, it seems like anymore they're just all supplied with like baby clothes anymore, because babies grow up and people got to get rid of them somehow. But I just and if it's a garage sale, usually around this area, it seems like it's just like one table worth of stuff, and usually never worth looking. But I found one on the Facebook Marketplace, showed records in there, it had like two big stacks. So I was kind of digging for about 10 minutes and came out with a few good ones. One I'm keeping for sure, which is this one. This is the Cowsills. Pretty common record, but this is a very clean mono copy, which you often don't see very clean monos out in the wild. So, or just clean copies in general. I mean, I think a lot of the kids really played this record to death, and on the black MGM. I really like this band. I mean, they often get kind of credited or often slept on as like maybe a Partridge Family ripoff, but Partridge Family actually ripped them off. I mean, as far as like the TV show goes, because I think originally the Cowsills were planned to do a TV show back when they had success, and I watched the documentary on them, but I forget the whole story now. But they were just so much more than their one big hit, The Rain, The Park, and Other Things. I mean, even that song itself is a great slice of pop music. But my favorite on here is River Blue, I think, and I think that's the flip side of that hit song. Very good pop psych, almost English-driven, like pop psych, with some cool effects thrown in too. Pennies, Save Your Pennies for a Rainy Day. Dreams of Linda, great slice of Baroque pop. Troubled Roses kind of has this like upbeat fuzz rockin' kind of grooving sound to it. Don't sleep on the Cowsills, man. They're actually really pretty solid, and it's not like, I wouldn't even consider them really bubblegum. I mean, it's very pop oriented, but they were a very talented group of family musicians. I mean, for their age as well. Just, they never ceased to impress me. So that one and their 2x2 record, which they get a little dark on that record and more mature in sound. I think those two are probably the keepers for me, but I'll still look out for, I think it's Captain Sad. It's like their kind of semi-concept record. I heard that back at Alex's pad when I was in Chicago, and had some good moments on there, so I'll have to pick it up when I see it next time. So this one I just took a chance on, just based on the cover and just how stark and weird it looked, Shining Bright by the Deckers. Found out this is a Nebraska sort of Christian band back in the late 70s. And then I looked up, just because I can, Jim Decker on Facebook. Come to find out he has like 3 mutual friends on Facebook. So seems to be kind of a local star of some sort here in Nebraska, based out of Kearney. Total private press thing here. It was recorded in Holdridge, Nebraska. And so, if you guys follow my other channel, Cosmic Minds, I uploaded the highlight track on here, which was actually really surprisingly good. The title track, Shining Bright. It's like a 5-minute, I don't know, sort of a folk rocker, but it's got these like weird violin delays and these string effects going throughout. ends with this kind of like psychedelic guitar delay outro, and it's brilliant stuff. I was like, whew, what did I pick up here? It's fascinating. Fascinating track. However, the rest doesn't live up to it, unfortunately. I mean, there's like maybe one or two others that were pretty good. Easter Song was good. But yeah, I had never seen this one before. So check that track out. I'll actually add a portion of that song to the intro to this video. This one, Peter and Gordon, Lady Godiva. This one I only spun, kind of sampled a few songs throughout. I'm kind of looking for their next one, which is a little more on the pop psych, baroque pop side, I think. But this is their 67 LP. I think they had a good string of hits. They're kind of more like a lightweight Chad and Jeremy, you could say. But I did enjoy some of the moments I heard on this, so I'm going to have to like revisit this one and share my thoughts online about it a little more in depth before I say any more here. But this one seemed to be fairly collectible. I just picked these up just by looking at the covers and the whole presentation. Anthem for His Majesty by Clockwise. It's got a sticker on there I cannot get off for $2. I think this is kind of like a small label Christian band, sort of like progressive rock, but like super tramp like progressive rock, very light in style. There was like one or two good moments on here, but sounds very dated for its time. I think it was selling for like maybe $20 online, so I could probably resell it, but it's just got that stupid sticker on there. So I picked that up. This one was not good. I Love Jesus by Spring of Joy. If I remember right, it's kind of like a very pedestrian country rock in a very, very poor light, so take a chance on it, why not? And I picked all those up for a bundle for like $5 or something. So this is one I picked up at Roots Music here in Lincoln. It's basically a musical instrument store, but they do have like a used record selection. And this one kind of stood out to me. I had no idea what this was. This is JSJ Incorporated presents Get Back and More. Just looking at the whole presentation, I figured, looks pretty bare bones. Like, what's the deal here? It's like some bootleg of some sort, and I believe it is. This is like coined as one of the very first bootlegs of its kind. Basically, it is the Beatles, but it's sort of like different variations of outtakes and alternate takes. There's one really cool moment on here where they do Across the Universe. It's basically the original mix track, where it's like a mono track of the song, but it's got these like echoey delay reverb effects on it, and it's like super lo-fi psych awesomeness. Like it's such a good version. I'd love to like post that version on like a psychedelic trip sometime, but I don't know if it'll get past the Apple Music police or not, but not gonna take a chance on that. But it is a cool sample of that track. Okay, and then this last one here, this is the online pickup. I didn't know what this was entirely musically, but I knew some people had posted about it, said some good things, and I saw the price. I was like, pretty sure this goes for like over $100, and I think it does. And this is Kindred Spirits, For Your Comfort. This is like another Christian band. Lots of array of different players on here. I don't know how to put this. It's very much a homemade, homespun sort of production recording. Very raw in spots. It's got this kind of like a really nice folk rock magic to it. Sort of in the vein, I guess you could say, like it would be a great contender or continuation to listen to this after like Jimmy Carter and the Dallas County Green. You guys know that LP. Summer Brings the Sunshine. It's a very good comparison, like in contrast with this one. Like I said, very Christian based, but I mean, don't let that like scare you away or anything. It's definitely got the musical chops. There's a little bit of saxophone, but done tastefully. Some flute in the mix, and it's pretty long LP, if I remember right. I think it's like, 45 minutes long or something. It feels very long and stretched out, but some of the tracks, are a little maybe forgettable by side 2, but great harmonies. If you love those, it's not really in the real people realm, but it's more like just a lot of people with passion, sharing their original tracks. It's definitely good up in that alley. On this label here, they're based out of Oklahoma, so I don't know how many copies were pressed, but definitely a private pressing. There's a lyric sheet. So this might be a keeper for some time. Let's see. So that's basically it for my recent finds. And I did pick up a cool little book here. It's a memoir. Came out last year for Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child. This was like 50% off at Barnes & Noble. And I'm just kind of glancing through the photographs. Some of them I've never seen before. And it kind of goes basically throughout the history of Hendrix's career. The very short time span that he made an impact on the world, man. Reflecting on just his whole career, talking to different scholars and people that have studied, music history and whatnot. And I'll probably dive into this one soon. So kind of got inspired to pick this up as well, just based on watching that recently cleaned up footage of him playing in Maui, which is incredible footage, by the way, and it's like better quality than my videos, It's cleaned up very well. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we shall see you soon.